August 18th, another edition, the 18th episode of 30 Minutes with Spyglass Lending. We've got a very, very special guest with us today. He is one half of the Altman Brothers, but I assure you he is very much his own man. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show, Matthew Altman. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Aaron Pfeffer, it's a pleasure and an honor. I've been following your podcast now for a long time, and it's been helping me get through my days. And I really just appreciate the knowledge that you drive on us. And also another thing that I find so beautiful about your podcast is the fact how you are like a piece of art yourself. The way your gray and black hair melts right into the picture behind you. It's beautiful.
That's why I did it. That's why I got it. And I appreciate you saying so. If you can't tell already, Matt and I know each other. I don't think you could possibly come at anybody like that without some sort of background between each other. So yeah, we've got close to a 20-year history, and we're going to talk about that. I want to get right into that. Do you remember when we first met?
Tiffany, I remember we first met 20 years ago. We were both in the entertainment industry, and I think it was probably me trying to get something from, I don't know if it was Zyde Perry. It was something from a script or something, and we hit it off in the entertainment industry.
Oh, it was well before the Zyde Perry days, my friend. I was a creative artist agency. I was only there a couple of months.
You were at TA? I didn't. Or
yeah. And you were at AMG, right? So
Correct.
A little history on that. Like I think I was out here maybe 3 or 4 months, and we met at a Sony party. We became fast friends, and all of a sudden we're having lunches, as we call them, Young Turks having power lunches at a place that no longer exists, like throwback to New York City style.
Was CC Fly, because they did that
McCormick and Schmick's.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. And I think we had no money, so we would just show up and order the cheeseburger all 4 of us sitting there, cheeseburger every other Friday.
And oysters and $1 oyster. You need 4 of those. That's like a full meal.
The place was amazing. So we started out there, and both of us obviously in the entertainment space. And tell us a little bit about where you went from there. I mean, you were in that for a while before you got into real estate, right?
I was in there for a while. I went from the entertainment industry to the real estate / entertainment industry. Originally, background was graduated. Went to University of Colorado, played football there as a backup kicker, the greatest position in the history of sports.
Seriously, just a lot of stretching, just a tremendous.
5 years. Ended up interning during the summers, which was always probably the most important thing anyone can do while in college. Is enjoy college. Don't worry about anything. Just intern for free. And I interned, I think the first summer it was at Entertainment Tonight. The second summer it was at Don Buchwald, who at the time represented Howard Stern. The third one was MTV Road Rules and Real World, and then News 4. So I had graduated and had the most incredible resume, making a total of $0 in 4 years. And then when I graduated, when you realize that you've made no money, you're able to send that resume out. And everybody offered me a job because I had a lot of great experience. So that was the most important thing I did in all of college. And then ended up going to start in the entertainment industry. And originally I started with a guy who basically packaged and put together the show Will and Grace, which was Scott Schwartz and 2.5 Men, or it was Scott Schwartz at Vision Art Management. I did that for about 2 years. Great time. Ended up moving over to the Gersh agency. Did that for, I want to say 4 or 5 years. I'm not sure. My memory is not great anymore. I have too much crap going in my head all the time.
Well, when you were at the Gersh agency, you were at that point an agent, right?
Yeah, I think I was one of the youngest agents in Hollywood. I was an agent the day I started when I worked at Artist Management Group.
Which we got to put a pause on for a second, because I think a lot of people should need to understand what that means. I mean, most people would otherwise have to go through a rigorous training program, have to go to a mailroom. I don't think you ever did you?
I did not. I was able to finagle my way in and skip that, which was a big deal. And so I was able to do that, able to move over to the Gersh agency and then over to CAA.
Right.
And then decided, you know what? I like a business where I can create a product.
Mm-hmm.
And on Monday or Wednesday, it doesn't happen to walk away because they meet somebody or it's sunny out or they have a bad day. So I think that was the part of the entertainment industry I didn't like. I think being talent is wonderful, but being an agent where unless you're locked into contract, it's always free agency. And I don't like that aspect of life. It didn't fulfill me.
So you ultimately left. I mean, you and to think about it, because again, putting that in perspective, I mean, anyone who is inside Hollywood or knows anything or even wants to be part of this business, Creative Artist Agency is a top 3 agency, and at the time when you were there, clearly number 1, undoubtedly. You know, so
I was there with
100%.
100%.
Yeah, right.
And I think now Endeavor, William Morris, when they combined, it's sort of CAA or William Morris Endeavor at this point. I assume they're the top 2. Obviously.
Right. Yeah, still remain so, but you know, neck and neck. But again, you know, working your way up as you had, just becoming an agent there, never having gone through the training programs, talking your way into these positions and getting hired was incredible. And you felt comfortable enough walking away from it.
I mean, just so you know how I got the job, because everyone always asked me how I got the move from a place like Gersh, which is a boutique agency, to one of the big 5. I had a lot of my clients stolen. And whereas in that business, when you get your clients stolen, you call and you threaten the other person, you call and you yell at them. I actually wrote a letter to the 5 people that stole my 5 clients saying, congratulations, you just got a star. I admire you. I've looked up to you. I'm supposed to be mad at you, but the truth is I just want to work as hard as you and be like you someday. And I sent that out to 5 different agencies, and I got 5 offers that day to work for them.
See, that's incredible. I mean, a story like that, just telling an anecdote like that, it speaks volumes, honestly, to who you are, the person I've known for 20 years. I mean, you're always like this contrarian salesman. And that's, you know, part of your success. And we're going to get into that certainly, but obviously what allowed you to even work at a place like CAA. But you left there, and how long before you got into real estate, or what'd you do essentially after you left CAA?
So what happened was, it was one of these things that in life, you follow your passion, what you love to do. My true passion. And everybody says I'm crazy, but if I could do anything and I had all the money in the world, I would be a soccer coach and a scuba diving instructor. But considering neither of those pay as well as you think they do, except for Ted Lasso, which I haven't seen, but I hear is great. I ended up, Josh and I, my brother, partner, ended up flipping houses while we were agents. He had the same type of resume I did. And on the weekends, we would go to a home, we would paint it white. It was the perfect time, by the way. Whoever bought a home on Monday, it was worth more on Friday. But we were able to go in. I'm very good with my hands artistically, and we could take out appliances, fix different light fixtures and so on. And I think the first time we did that, we bought a house. It was 100% financing, so it cost nothing.
Back then, you could.
Escrow. Yeah. We bought an apartment on where the 405 and the 10 meet. I think it was called Bentley Avenue. And we ended up painting the place, putting in all new fixtures, and putting all new appliances in. And as a joke, put it on the market for double, like a month later.
Right.
And we got it. And we were like, what? First of all, like the joke, because we speak a lot around the country, the joke originally was, I'm sorry, let me understand this. So we just made $300,000. So we didn't even know what taxes were, by the way. Not a clue. That will creep up later, but we just made $300,000, and we are brilliant at math. So as far as we were concerned, we were millionaires.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden, we're the richest people we know. And what do? We buy the townhouse right next door. We did the same thing, and we did their townhouse right next door and did the same thing. And then immediately people caught on, and they started doing it themselves. So in a very short while, in a matter of like a month, I made the same amount I made as a talent agent at CAA. And my brother and I looked at each other and we're like, wait a second. This doesn't make sense. And people started asking me for advice with housing, because I shared the news with everyone. Oh my God, there's a great side gig. And it started making 10 times the money I was making at CAA on the weekends, which is a job that's 24/7. So it's the irony of the way the world works. But I remember saying, this is not obviously where I want to spend my time. I enjoy we would go to open houses because we enjoyed it. It was like a dream. You just get to walk through cool people's houses. Like, how much fun is that on the weekend when you got nothing else to do? So we ended up doing that, and that led to us to dip our feet into real estate.
Right.
Josh ended up running a mortgage company, and then I ended up continuing in real estate until he had that. I'm sorry, continuing as a talent agent. We decided to partner up, and we decided to become real estate agents. And we walked up and down the street on Cannon and went into every single place and told them that we had sold 11 houses, which we did, but they were all our own, and we used an agent. We forgot that part. And we were ready to rock and roll. And again, putting in perspective, just to talk about what Cannon is, like one of the more famous streets
next to Rodeo, obviously in Beverly Hills. But there was one particular agency on Canon where you started, right? Where the two
We
of you
started
kind
at Hilton
of
and
talked your way in.
We walked into Hilton Highland.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we went there was because it was Paris Hilton's father's name.
Yep.
We sat down with good old Rick Hilton. He looked at us, and Jeff, two of our mentors in the business, helped start us. You know, guys, we don't take new agents. And we're like, yeah, no, we're not new whatsoever. We've sold 11 houses. They're like, oh, really? We don't see that. I'm like, yeah, we've just done that. And one thing I've learned in this life and in this business is people don't check, not resumes, they don't check your background to the degree that you would think they do, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer.
Which they should at that point, for sure.
Yes. But you'd be surprised. I mean, we grew up with the fake it till you make it. And we basically just made up a story to get the opportunity to get in. We were able to convince them. And we, in our first 6 months, total, how much do you think we sold in our first 6 months?
I'm going to guess negative $600,000.
We sold $0 in our first 6 months. We were 1 month away from quitting and saying real estate was not the right job. We happened to be lucky enough to live in Beverly Hills, where every house is so expensive that we sold one house. Our first year, we sold one house for $12 million. Now, again, because of where we were, it paid us for the whole year. That is the only part I would tell you about the job of real estate that I always find interesting. I feel we're very fortunate is that I will do the same amount of work selling a $50 million house as someone in Kentucky will selling a $80,000 house. Right. The exact same amount of work, and the payday difference is why people live in California.
But in a house that's 80 grand in Kentucky, very different marketing, right? I mean, maybe they can shoot the pictures on their iPhone, where if you're listing a 20, 30, $40 million house, a little different expectation.
Oh, I'm trying to get comfortable in the seat. Again, it's how much you want to put into it, but it doesn't matter. It equates, because if 80,000 is luxury there, or whatever the number is, 400,000,
sure,
600,000, luxury is luxury. You're going to be focusing on the same type of buyers in whatever area.
No doubt. All right. So how long were you at Hilton Highland after that?
I think we were very loyal over there. I think we were there for about 7 years or so.
Mm-hmm. And that's when the show started, right? When you
were at Hilton Highland. So a lot of the, when I left that entertainment industry, I will be honest with you, I was pretty depressed for about 6 months. Mm-hmm. Felt like I had wasted a lot of time. The work and the amount of hours that we put in there, it just as well as I do, is grueling. It's first of all, it's not a job. It's a lifestyle. You are working 24/7.
You're on call 24/7. That's the tough part, right? I mean, when you're an underling, or even when you're
that you're not working, and just to be able to do that all the time is exhausting. What was I saying? Jeez.
Oh no, Hilton Highland. I mean, you were a little depressed for about 6 months.
And so basically, when I left that business, I felt I literally wasted 8 or 9 years of my life. I was like, what was I doing? How am I ever going to use this? And when you're in that business, agents steal clients from other agents. They stab you in the back, they stab you in the face, whatever it is. When you leave that business, all of a sudden, everyone says, when you have to completely leave entertainment, so you go to a whole new facet. And then all of a sudden, they're like, wait a second, that guy's great because he knows the crazy people we deal with all day.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And our first client ever, who to this day, I will tell you, the most loyal, beautiful, wonderful woman is Kim Kardashian. She was our first client in real estate. I remember selling her first condo on Croft for about $800,000. She introduced us to her friends, who introduced us to their friends. And within 5 minutes, we were dealing with sort of young Hollywood. I literally will tell you, if you were to ask, the one factor that got us in was Kim. And she has been one of the most loyal, wonderful clients to our family from the day we met her. She deserves every inch of her success.
That's tremendous. Love hearing it. And look, again, to your point about how, and I love harping on this, especially with you, your ability to have the conversations like you did with Rick Hyman, your ability to kind of maneuver in certain social circles and have everybody feel comfortable. And, that's part of it. I mean, that's the Hollywood allure. Certainly. I mean, I'm going to tell a quick anecdote. You may or may not remember this story, but I'm going to go back maybe 12 or 14 years ago at this point, right? You're already kind of starting to get some success. You're still at Hilton Highland. You and I are in the car together. We're on Santa Monica Boulevard heading east. It is rush hour. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm talking a pile of traffic behind us, a good mile and a half. Bumper to bumper. The traffic ahead of us starts going. You look over to your left, and realize some guy is sitting in about a $300,000 car. You start honking the horn to get his attention. You put the car in park. Okay. Now, again, traffic. It's 5 o'clock, rush hour. Everybody behind us ain't happy that nobody's going anywhere. You get out of the car. You pull out a business card, and you said, a man like you in a car like that needs a house to match. When you're ready, you give me a call. This is the Matt Altman that I know. I mean, it's a fearless, never ending. You're always on.
We treat our cars like they had a virus. That was our saying, and that's how we did that.
Get them out of the wallet.
Hold on a second, Ashley. Sorry, Ashley. You want to say hi to the TV? No. No. Okay. Say hi, because I need you to get out of this.
A little special guest appearance. What's up, my man? Good to see you.
Okay, go into another room.
I like that shirt.
All right, go on.
No, I'm saying you said you treat your business cards like a virus.
Yeah, we treat and we tell all the guys and girls that work for us, if you're holding onto a business card, you're not using that correctly. Everybody needs to know what you do. But again, every single thing about our lives, Josh and I, has been breaking the rules. The number one rule I would tell you to follow in life is to make your own rules, or don't get caught doing whatever you're doing. Because at the end of the day, I know you went to, what was it, Harvard or Brown or somewhere. Sure. Where?
Yeah, Indiana University, close enough.
Yeah, you went to Cambridge.
The Harvard of the Midwest, let's call it.
Harvard of the Midwest, but I know because I've known you a long time. You're a voracious reader. By the way, that's the biggest word I know. Voracious. We were street smart guys, and that's what it took. And so the inspiration there for anybody trying is, I get resumes every day now from kids at Harvard and Yale and Penn, colleges that wouldn't look at me ever if I wasn't playing football, to be honest with you.
To be their backup kicker?
Yeah, and if I wasn't the backup kicker. But it enabled us we made our own rules and we made our own success. And that's just the inspiration there is, do what you love, have fun doing it. Look, I will tell you, on the education system, I didn't take it as seriously. There are 3 classes I wish I knew. I wish there was an accounting class to teach you about taxes. There probably was. Maybe I didn't know that existed. I wish there was a class that told you about time management, and how to most effectively do that. And I think I would say and then and utter the importance of second language, not to be force fed into you. You have to do this, but for every language you learn, you can make twice as much money. Like, what more motivation do you need? If somebody told me that when I was younger, instead of you have to learn Spanish or French, I was thinking I had to do it. If you said, if you learn both the languages, you'll earn 3 times the money. I would have been fluent in 3 languages. And it's taken me a long time. I am now fluent in Canadian, in Australian, in English American, and English overseas.
And the man and jokes. You are clearly fluent in that too. So I appreciate you bringing that right in there. That's good. And look, it works for you. I mean, and this is. But what you're talking about obviously makes a lot of sense. I mean, again, the way you think about stuff, the way you're able to compartmentalize what's important and what you're focused on. And it's always about that connection and always about that sale. I see you operate. I mean, probably the best word I can describe for you as an operator in the best possible way. When you meet somebody, when you command their attention and you're ultimately looking for what they need and how you can provide it for them, or vice versa. I'm always impressed by that. Let's take you back to Hilton Island for a second again, because you said you did 7 years there. Jump to where? And at what point? How many years?
When you say it like that, it just sounds like a prison. Yeah, I did 7 years.
Yeah, you did 7. Yeah, you did a sentence there. They released you. It was great. You got back your watch and your wallet. You. How many years into the show were you, by the way, at $1 Million Listing after you left?
So again, my brother is the star of that show. We are business partners, best friends. He's obviously a close friend of yours as well. Josh is the star. It's been on now for 14 years. They're taping the 14th season. It's something that I don't mind appearing in, but it's not my show in any way. This is all Josh's show. He carries that show. He has for the past 10 years or so. So it's been a great advantage to our business platform because, in the world of marketing as an agent, the single most important thing you can ever do is get people to know who you are and let them know that you sell real estate. So we have an infomercial that runs on TV now for 14 years. That's an incredible blessing. And a lot of hard work, by the way. A lot. I don't know that, a lot of people have been on the show and off the show, but to be able to do that effectively, you have to have 2 partners. You have to have a partner that's on camera and then another one that's off camera, working their butt off.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What was the brokerage after Hilton Highland that you're at now?
After Hilton Highland, we got an opportunity. We started off having never sold a single house, and we were one of the top performers at Hilton Highland. At the time, Hilton Highland had all the top performers. And so we were sort of all branching out on our own and or to a different place. And we got the opportunity to meet at a couple different places, and a company called Douglas Elliman came by, and they were just about to open up in Los Angeles. We knew them from the East Coast. We grew up in Boston, and we visited New York all the time with our families. That's a massive brand out there. And when they came out here and they had their mentality, we sat and met with them, and we decided to jump ship and start with them from day one in like a half office. I don't even know what it was. And we have now been with them for about 8 years. And we've been the top in the company now year after year after year. We love the company. We they've treated us very well, and we love being part of that brand. It's been an incredible.
Yeah, and again, forgive me, but the reason I like harp on it and kind of came back to, because I think it's so fascinating, as you mentioned, they were a huge brand on the East Coast, but really didn't have much of a presence here. But there you go. I mean, it was you two that they turned to be the face of the company, to be such a big part of it. And I think that's exciting and it's incredible. Yeah. And obviously you've been with them for 8 years, and also speaks volumes. What else, man? I mean, look, besides billions in real estate, and that'll continue on for quite some time, obviously, show or not, because of how good you guys are and what you built, and the brand that you focused on, and just how good you are is actually, working hard. And I think that's something that's important to harp on for a second. You two work insanely hard just in real estate. I mean, right? I mean, you are.
I genuinely think Josh and I are two of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life.
You really are.
I'm always blown away. What's that?
I'm going to attest to that.
Yeah, I'm always blown away when we show younger guys or girls homes that are 20 or 30 million in the tech business, because the amount of hours we put in was more than any of them have ever put in. And it's always like, there is a factor of luck, obviously, and we always look at it as you make your own luck. You put yourself in your own positions to get lucky. And I can go into that later if you want, but we are the two hardest working guys I know. It really is. And by the way, it's also a downside. I'm trying, now that I have a family, to spend more and more time with them.
Yep.
And it's not easy when you have a brother as a partner. If you have somebody else as a partner and you let them down, big deal. When it's your brother, you feel really guilty and you feel like crap. So it really continues to motivate us both. We're both from an athletic background where we're both always pushing ourselves to get better, or for the other one to be better.
Yeah. And
I will say, Aaron, who I've known for 20 years, is one of those people that secretly you like to not like so much because everybody likes him. Like with us, you like us or you don't like us. It's a 50-50 split. Aaron's been the nicest guy and friend I've had for 20 years. The only thing that bothers me about him is that everybody likes him. And so everyone's like, oh, my best friend Aaron. And it hurts a little bit after you hear that so many times, because you wonder who his real best friends are. But he's a very good guy.
I appreciate the plug. Back to you for a second. Besides billions in real estate, what else? I mean, you talk about investing and how you were flipping property. Are you still doing that, or what else are you investing in right now?
We invest in a large group of different areas. I will tell you, when it comes to investing, the number one rule I can teach you is you invest in what you know, period. Not in what anybody else knows. Because then if it doesn't work out, you know exactly who to blame. When I invested in Bitcoin, those imaginary coins, I got screwed. When I invested in an energy company, I got screwed. When I literally can list off 20 companies that have failed that I did not invest, or that I invested in, that were non-real estate. With that said, you can, if you're smart and you know how to properly invest and diversify, obviously you can do well. We're part of many different products right now. A lot of real estate products, a lot of technology products. We're in a great drink company called BLK Water, which is Balanced Love and Kindness Water. We've recently got in with them. We're starting to see them at all stores, from Costco to Walmart to Target. An incredible product. I love water, but I hate regular water. So all I do all day long is drink, wherever it is, flavored waters. And this is a flavored water that has 12 different flavors that are incredible, that make you feel like you're drinking a soft drink. And so that's why I ended up loving it. We'll see how that one goes. We're invested in, again, many other companies. There's another company that's just launched called Bid My Listing, which is the most groundbreaking technology when it comes to selling a home you've ever seen. And we're very excited to be part of that and see where that goes. I'll give you in a nutshell. Everybody can go to bidmylisting.com. You can log in. It's free. Check it out. Essentially, in a nutshell, right now as a realtor, you spend money on things that you never know if they work. You buy all the silly leads on the Zillows or the Redfins, whatever. No, none of them come to anything. You buy bus ads, you buy newspaper ads, you buy videos, you buy all these things, and you have no clue where anybody has ever seen you. With Bid My Listing, an active seller will go online, say, I'm going to sell my house in Beverly Hills. They push a button. It goes to all the agents in Beverly Hills, and it says, would you like to bid on the listing of this property? Meaning you are offering to A, put skin in the game, and B, whatever you want to pay, the seller sees, and $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, these commissions are large amounts. If you're willing to pay $10,000, that makes a difference to a seller. They can do work to their house. They can stage the house. They can pay for college, whatever it is that they need. It's an extra incentive. They then get to decide out of the top people that bid, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $20,000, whatever it is, who they want to choose. And if they like them, they work together and they're able to sell the home. That's buying a real lead. That's 100% real because you get the listing. And any young agent out there knows how hard it is to get their first listing. On Bid My Listing, you can go and invest in yourself. Buy 5 listings, and guess what? You've sold 5 homes. You know how much time that's going to take away from somebody who is just trying to break in the industry? Years. It's the greatest program I've ever seen. Bidmylisting.com.
Yeah, it's incredible. And when you first told me about it, I was my jaw hit the floor as well. And obviously, I mean, you speak specifically to Beverly Hills because that's our backyard, but this works anywhere. This is national, right?
Actually, by the way, we haven't tried it in Beverly. The test markets are in Northern California, and it's working insanely well.
Right, a lot lower price points, and certainly
agents love it. Level, so. Agents are able to get their face in front of people they wouldn't usually, and then sellers love it because they're making money. And people, you work harder when you have $10,000 or $20,000 on the line.
Yeah.
You work a lot harder than just, I want to do this or that. So
it's just a very, very, very different spin on this industry. And that's gonna be extremely disruptive, right? I mean, it could change everything moving forward. You talk about look, Redfin came in and changed everything the way they do it. But to your point, I mean, there are so many agents. How do I break in? How do I beat out somebody who already has a listing? How do I move quickly from becoming a junior agent to, somebody with a bigger role? And this is a great way to do it. I mean, I sound like I'm plugging it for you, but seriously, it's like, I mean, when you first told me about it, I thought it was really impressive. So obviously we'll see where it goes. And I know you're just getting started with it. So really interested to see
it's out there. I mean, there's a ton of articles in Forbes Entrepreneur. You can just Google bidmylisting.com and check it out.
What about real estate itself? Are you still acquiring? Are you still flipping anything? What do you think?
I am heavily invested in real estate. I've got 5 properties now. Mm-hmm. All of them, the other thing is where you invest in. I like to invest where I know. I know you happen to be more gutsy in being able to invest in different parts of the country that you haven't been to. For me, I need to see.
By the way, not to complete success. So
the reason mine are successful is because I know when the steal is there and I seize those moments because of what I do. Yep. If you work at any type of shop, you always get a discount in whatever industry you're in. If you're in the sneaker business, when a hot pair of sneakers come in, and if you were to buy it, you can resell it outside for double the money. I feel the same way with real estate, obviously. I focus, the end goal that everybody talks about is you invest in units, and that's how you get real rich. For right now, I'm finding my success in owning homes that are single family homes that I end up renting out. Ironically, I've lived in most of them. I picked up one recently that I don't live in, but the rental rates are so incredible that they're doing multiples of 50 to 100% of my investment right now. So that's what I'm focused on. Again, it's all about knowing the right piece of land. There was a house the last house I just bought was on the market for $10 million for years. It became a sleeper. People stopped looking at it. I was able to pick it up for $5.6 million. My rental rate on that product, my mortgage is about $22,000 a month, and my rent on that is about $45,000 a month.
Right. So you said 5.6 and about 45,000. I mean, that's close to the 1% rule. I mean, almost unheard of here in Los Angeles. But if you're high enough on the property itself, and like you said, you struck when at a lower price point because of who and what you're able to do. That's amazing, because most people here in LA are kind of at that 30 to 50% rule, but you're close to the 1% rule on what you spend compared to what you're bringing back in. That's awesome. What's that?
It's just because it's I focus on it. On every house I bought, by the way, I've been showing clients that house and then all of a sudden end up buying the house.
Right.
Every house I've showed, the house I'm in right now, I bought this because my client wanted me to see it. We were the first ones in the door. It's kind of a funny story. I said to him, listen, are you aware, because he's a good friend of mine, this house is completely mispriced. I mean, the next person, you're the first person to ever walk in the door. The next person who walks in this door is going to offer full price, all cash.
Yeah.
And he goes back, he goes, I'm not sure. It's a big house. I haven't got rid of my other house. I said, it's totally fine. I just need you to give me your permission that if somebody else walks in, you won't be mad. He goes, all right, yeah, it's okay. And I said, okay, jokingly, I said, I'm going to buy the house. And he goes, all right, I'll start laughing. And he left. I walked in and I offered full price immediately. It was worth double. Right. Yeah. It was worth double immediately. So.
Yeah, look, I mean, you do this all day, every day, so you would know better than anybody. We're running out of time, but I got one last question for you, because I think a lot of people want to know what is going on in the industry. A lot of volatility in the last 4 to 6 months. Play prognosticator for a second. What do we see down the road? What do you think is going to happen, not only in high-end real estate, obviously your neck of the woods, but all the way down into maybe a little bit lower price point? What do you think is coming up for us all in the next 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, again, I like how everybody thinks everyone has a crystal ball. But if I were to look into the crystal ball, I would tell you that the high-end market that I deal with, the properties that are stupidly priced are no longer going to be around. They have to get real. You can't carry these properties anymore for that amount of time. Yeah. The properties in the lower end, that's where I see, and I don't mean lower end because it's all again relative, but in the properties in the 1 to 5 million range, that's going to just take a drastic change based on rates. That's where rates affect people. Nobody buying a $20 million house could care less about rates. They're buying it. They're using their own money with the banks. Mm-hmm. But the fact that rates have doubled means your monthly payments have doubled. That's a big difference. So someone who was looking to buy a $4 million house a month or 3 months ago can now only afford a $3 million house. Someone who was buying a $3 million can only afford it. It's versus going up, you're now going down. Now, again, you got to remember these rates are the lowest they've been ever still. So at the end of the day, you're still safe. You're still fine. But yes, people are freaking out. Again, in the 1 to 5 million range, which is where most people are buying in the world, or at least in what I deal with, that's on fire. If you price something correctly, it sells in 5 minutes. If you overprice a property, it's going to take a long time to sell. That's just the basic world of real estate that my mentor always told me. It's like, what's it worth? It's worth what someone's going to pay for it. And how much, what do I price it at? You price it at what it's worth.
Matthew Altman, Douglas Elliman Real Estate, billions in volume annually.
The AltmanBrothers.com. Matt Altman.
The AltmanBrothers.com. Bidmylisting.com. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you enough being here today. Thank you, man.
Love you, Aaron Factor. Love the hair.
Love you too, Matt. Thanks, man.